Hey guys, it's part 3 of the Empowered Mom series. Today I get the pleasure in chatting with a very special guest all the way across the world from my first home, Sierra Leone. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Finda, your empowered guide in business, fitness, and fragrance. Today is part 3 of the Empowered Mom series. And today I'm so excited. I have someone all the way from my homeland of Sierra Leone who is just an empowered woman. We've been following this woman since I would say 3 years, and just her content. I feel like she stays on top of everything Sierra Leone. I learned about, the cotton tree falling to the Kush thing that's going on right now in nightlife and just everything you want to do in Sierra Leone. She would definitely, she's like your tour guide. So I'm really grateful that I have with me today Antoinette. Before we actually get into a conversation with Antoinette, guys, don't forget to click that subscribe button. If you are finding value in my content, please show some love. Click the subscribe button and let me know how you're actually liking these women that I'm actually giving you guys. So guys, without further ado, this is Antoinette George. Antoinette, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
with us today. Thank you. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, Finda. Hi, guys. This is Antoinette George, your salon baby. I'm happy to be here. And as you're watching this video, please like and subscribe to Finda's channel. She's doing a whole lot, inspiring women out there. So it's worth it, actually. So you can enjoy lots of food content. And Finda, you know what? That like when I watch your content, I'm like, you can just wake up and get to action, get to work just by watching these videos. And that is exactly what we all need. So definitely subscribe and continue to watch her content.
Oh, thank you so much for that plug. Thank you. So Antoinette, what is it? What do you do and how did you start?
Um, First of all, I moved away from what I did in college, what I studied in school. So I am now doing something that is not 100% too far from it, but slightly different. So I had to go back to the drawing board and, just do more to have the impact that I want to create. I love communications, and I felt like doing communications advocacy, it helps with whatever you're doing. So I moved into doing more of comsy and advocacy stuff, which is slightly different from what I studied in school. So it was not the easiest thing to do, to move career paths, but yeah, I did it and I survived it, and I'm here today. So I have a 9 to 5 job, and I've been trying, to make myself better at it for the past 4 years, doing the best that I could, improving each day and not just staying at one particular point. So that is what I do. And of course, I do content on the side. I do YouTube, as something that I am really, really passionate about. So I have my 9 to 5. I go to work every morning, like in regular posting. And then when I get home, I focus on my content and I try as much as possible to create the balance. So if I'm going to the provinces for a work visit, an official visit, I might do videos for my content, but then I try as much as possible to create that balance. So you don't get to know what I do as a 9 to 5. You don't get to know where I work as a 9 to 5 hour, but you get to enjoy the other side of me, which is the content creation. Because that one, I like it so much. It's something that I'm really passionate about, and I see it's going really far. Yeah.
That's amazing. Antoinette, you said in the beginning that what you started for when you went to school is really what not you're quite doing. And that always
Yeah.
happens in life, right? It feels like we know exactly what it is that we want to do, but then we find our hearts pulling us somewhere else. Like you said, you
Yeah.
love doing content, and I could tell you love creating content because your videos are so amazing. Like I tell you, like it sucked me in for the past 3 years. So I think
Yeah.
that's literally that's a really great point when you say like what you started for is not what you actually where you are right now, and you just love content creating. And my question for you is that being a mom, she has an adorable little boy. Being a mom, how do you balance mom life and then actually going after what you want, working?
So creating a balance can be really hard because one moment you'll find yourself doing it like a boss. The other moment you'll find, some other parts suffering for the others. So at some point, I feel like my content life, it dropped a little bit. The consistency, isn't as much as it used to be back then. Back then after work, I would come back home and then I'll just go straight into content creation, when I didn't have a baby. I'll come back home after work and just jump into it. Or maybe after work, I'll schedule and say, okay, when I finish work at 4:30, I'm going to go to X, Y, and Z location and film. But now, immediately after work, I'm running home because I have a sister that is so amazing that is helping me with my boy during the day. But then after work, I have to come back and take up my responsibility so that she can go home to her kids as well. So when I get home, I don't have the time to create content. I just go straight into motherhood, and that is getting my baby ready for bedtime, feeding him, cleaning him, and all of those things. That is what I get straight. So when people go home to rest after a 9 to 5 job, when I come home, I go straight into action, straight into motherhood. So sometimes it's really not the easiest thing to do. And because I cannot afford to let my 9 to 5 job suffer, because that is why I get paid every month, right? So I cannot allow the 9 to 5 job to suffer. And my child is also a priority. But then I love creating content. So these are three things that, I don't know, they are all really important to me. So how do I find the balance? Before now, I was posting like maybe 2 or 3 contents a week on my YouTube. I was doing TikTok. I was trying to do stuff on Instagram. Now I don't post as much on YouTube. I'm going to be really honest, but I try as much as possible to not let my YouTube channel die completely. So how I do that is making sure that I post at least once a week, just because I want to keep it going until that point in my life where I can go back to doing more content a week. So you don't need to stop one particular thing completely. You can still make all of them work, but you have to prioritize. And at this point in my life, I always say my child is my priority. That is the number one thing. I'm focusing on motherhood, but I'm also managing to hold other things. So planning has helped me a lot. So Monday to Fridays, I work, but then on Fridays, I have half days. So I close at 1. So when I close at 1, that is when I try to prepare my food stuff for the following week. So I try to cook if I'm using 2 different sauces or 3 different sauces for the following week. I do that on Friday just to reduce the task on Saturday, because I have to go to church on Sunday. So I have to be sure that on Saturday I'm not overwhelmed, So when I cook on Fridays and keep those in the freezer, even though now we struggle with lights, but anyways, that's story one. That's story, guys, some parts of the world where you live, multitasking and planning is going to be super, super difficult. I'm not going to lie. So here in Sierra Leone, meal prepping and all of those things, it's really not as easy as it is where Finda is, because you already know. So but I try to make sure I meal prep for the following week, so that I have a simpler Saturday. And then on Saturday, that's when I clean the house, do my son's clothes and everything. I still have a husband to take care of as well, but that is a grown son. So yeah, but with my son, that's how I do it. And we are moving. So yeah, planning, multitasking, and also knowing that I cannot do everything as much as it was back then. I think that is very important for your mental health, because as a mom, you're like, oh, but I was doing this before, and now I'm not able to do everything as it was. The capacity is not as what it used to be. You have to prepare your mind for every phase of your life. And at this point in life, I am aware, I know that I cannot do everything. And especially when you don't have all the help in the world, you cannot do it all. So you just have to prioritize and do certain things at certain levels. They all don't need to be 100%. Some days you wake up and you don't want to clean the house. That is totally understandable. You don't need to kill yourself, because if you try to be extreme, you might lose your sanity to some point. So just do you and realize that this is a phase. It will eventually pass. There will come a time that your child is going to be 5, 7 years old. My child is 1 year, 6 months old today. So obviously depending on me for everything, but there will be a time that he's going to be giving me water. He's going to be helping me clean the house, so it will get better. But for now, that's how we manage up.
Absolutely. Like you had so many good points that you mentioned, especially when you said about you have to prioritize, and your son is so important. I have a 6-year-old little boy. He's in kindergarten right now. He's my world. But at the same time, when I started my brand, he wasn't even born yet. But then he started going on video shoots with me and different things. Like he knows what mommy does he knows what mommy does. So it's a lot of fun. But to me, with children, because I watch you with your son and your husband, like they pour so much into you. That's how you're able to get so creative, because they're so supportive. And you definitely have to prioritize. We can't do it all, but at the end of the day, I always tell other moms, if I can make sure that my son is very successful, then I won. I did something good. Because being a great mom is like all it's so important, like that balance. And I love you, as I said, guys, check out our channel. And she's going to give you all her information at the end of this video. But the way she is with her family, they really pour into her. That's literally how she's able to be so creative, because you definitely need a support system. And she has one amazing support system, even from her friends. I've seen her friends and family, as she said, her sister that comes and watches her son while she's doing her 9 to 5 because she's got to hustle. But it's so imperative to have all those people, I would say those people in line, so you can shine at the same time, because nobody does it by themselves after all.
Definitely. Definitely.
Absolutely.
And I think the child is, every child is different, right? People normally say you can have 2 children or maybe 3, but then the fourth one might be a totally different breed. So, so that is something as well. So, my child is not independent. Of course, he's still a baby, but then he is not so cranky all the time. I think he is more on the happy side. I think he's more like his dad. That's what I normally say. He's more like his dad, always smiling, hardly cries and all that. So I think that helps as well. So if he cries, maybe he needs food or he needs something. So that as well is another factor that helps to, not make me run crazy. But yeah, we try, and sometimes when the dad is around as well, because he has to work as well. We all have to work. We all have to run after this bag. So, but when he is home, he definitely supports. And yeah, so I think they are the 2 main people, my husband, my sister. They help a lot, but I don't have a large community, but those are, the 2 people that are really, really helping, and it's making a difference, to what I already said.
Absolutely. As you said, you don't have a large community, but it's all about those certain people that make it so special and help you balance it out. At the end of the day, that's all it is. So what advice would you give moms out there that would feel like, I want to go after what I want, but at the same time, I'm a mommy, I want to dedicate my time to my family. So what advice would you give to them today?
Know what you can and cannot do. There are lots of events that I have had to miss. As a content creator, when you're invited to events, you just want to make it happen, because that is another opportunity for you to create content, right? But you have to know that, like I said earlier, you cannot do it all, but you can still manage to keep things alive and burning so that they don't die, completely. And so with my content creation, I don't leave things completely. I make sure I do stuff, even though they're just like baby steps here and there, but I still keep it moving. Now I don't get to travel around Sierra Leone as I used to do before with my YouTube. I don't get to go on adventure, because I can't put my baby in a boat and go to Bond now, can I? So I still find things that I am able to do within my area, without doing too much, but still doing something. So that's the point. Make sure you do everything that you really, really, really want to do, the things that you have the desire and the passion to do. You don't need to make them extra glamorous, so beautiful. Just do you at this point, but then, and also make sure you're keeping your mental health alive, guys. That is really, really important, especially if you are a new mom. I feel like if the older you get in motherhood, you understand better how to balance things out. There is no manual. It's just you just doing what works for you. What works for Antoinette might not work for somebody else. we're all just battling this and learning as we go. So as you go, you get to learn lots of stuff. But then I feel like younger moms, newer moms, with the whole postpartum thing and all that, you get to be drained, especially when you're looking around. Sometimes when I watch other videos and I see that the moms, they have mothers that care for their babies, I'm like, you guys are lucky. You guys are blessed. So when you look around and you see other people having like lots of people doing stuff for them, supporting them, you might want to get depressed, but just do what you can do and also allow other people to help you. Sometimes as new moms, you don't want people to do stuff for you, and you want to do them yourself. When I just gave back to my baby, I want to change my baby, I want to bath my baby, I don't want people to help me. You get tired.
Yeah.
You will eventually get tired, and you'll appreciate the fact that people are offering help. So if anybody offers help, as long as you trust that person, then by all means accept the help. That will make a difference. So if you want to go take a shower, which is like maybe 5-10 minutes, somebody offers to help carry the baby. As long as you trust them, make sure you trust them. As long as you trust them, by all means go for it. So take help while you have it. There's no payment for who suffers the most. If you have help, take it. Make sure you do everything that you're passionate about, even though you're not doing it on 100 for now. Make sure you guard your mental health, because that is what is going to help you to cater for your family. If you're not there, if you're not stable, then you won't be able to help your child. You won't be able to help your husband. You won't be able to be there for your family. So guard your mental health. Do little things here and there to keep you sane. If it's going to a spa, then go for it. If it's watching a movie, just do things that are going to keep your sanity alive, and make sure you plan. Planning, I cannot overemphasize on planning, Finda. Without planning, your life is going to be chaotic. So if you have to go to work Monday to Friday, make sure you use a part of your weekend, to plan and also relax. So if you do that right, then it'll be helpful. So you're great. You just brought a human being into this world. So be thankful and give yourself a tap on the back for that, because it's not Vince. Having babies is beautiful. I'm not going to lie, but it's exhausting. It is exhausting. So yeah.
I love that. You said something that I love. There's no reward for who suffers the most. Yeah, I love that, because if they're offering help, take help. You can't do everything. As moms, we feel like superwoman, that we are practically when it comes to taking care of human beings. But definitely when you prioritize, as you said, plan, prioritize, and get the help that you need completely, you can never go wrong with that. So guys, as you know, my content is mostly healthy foods, and I ask all of the women this month of the month of May. So I'm going to put you on I'm asking now, Antoinette, if you had one healthy food that you would eat for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I thought you were going to say two though, but
you can name two. Go ahead.
Well, okay, if I'm sticking to the rules, I would say pemao. And that is, if you're not Sierra Leonean, then you might not know, but that is a local Sierra Leonean dish. I think mostly for the Mende people, and my mom was a Mende. So I like pemao a lot because I think it is healthy and it's just vegetables, right? So the jakaton are vegetable, the petete leaf are vegetable, everything, the ogiri and all of that. So I think it is one healthy option that I would love to have every day. I don't get tired of eating pemao. But then if I'm given the opportunity to choose another option, it will be, I don't know, is goat pepper soup a healthy meal? I don't know. Good. So that's just me choosing two typical salon dishes. Yeah.
See, I love that. See, now you're literally giving my listeners who are like Americans or people that are from different countries what Sierra Leone healthy foods are about. So you see, you guys are learning. I'm constantly pouring value into you guys. So this is amazing. Guys, this is amazing. This has been a fantastic conversation with Antoinette George. Antoinette, where can my followers find you? Where can we connect with you?
So you can find me on YouTube. That is where I do more on social media. I'm actually on all of the platforms, but I do more on YouTube. And my name is on YouTube is Antoinette George. So search for Antoinette George on YouTube and you find me. You also find me on Instagram where I post just bits and pieces here and there. But then I do more on my stories. They're definitely going to like my stories on Instagram. So search for Carlnet_George on Instagram, and you'll definitely find me on those two platforms.
Fantastic. As I said in the beginning, guys, I'm going to have all of those links for you down as I always do in the comments. This has been a fantastic conversation. When I started the month of May, I wanted to do something because Mother's Day is in May. And mothers, we do so much. We're nurturers, we're chauffeurs. As she said, like we wear so many different hats. But I wanted to show women out there, just because you're a mom does not mean that you cannot start something that you're meant to do. I believe that everyone has a God-given purpose and you can go after it no matter how old you are. If you have lack of education, go learn something new so you can pour into others. I'm really grateful that I get up every day and I get to do this to just help you guys out. My wins are when I feel like I do something where somebody can feel like, man, Finda, you really helped me, you inspired me, or someone you had on your show inspired me. I feel like I've won. So my goal is to always make sure I'm pouring into you guys. As I always say, guys, like always remember that power moves to keep moving.